Congress are now going to shift to the states.
Okay. Again, we're going to be continuing this conversation after we take a very brief break. On our talking point, Europe slams the door on migrants now trapped at the border between Greece and Macedonia. Back in a moment with To The Point for PRI.
It's 129. Republicans in Congress and on the campaign trail have been scoring points with their base by attacking Planned Parenthood. Democrats are blaming the rhetoric for last weekend's deadly attack on a Planned Parenthood clinic. Is there evidence of such a link? That's tomorrow To The Point at 1 on KCRW.
KCRW sponsors include SunPower. Based in Silicon Valley, SunPower strives to improve the future of energy for consumers, major brands, and utilities around the globe, combining solar products with energy technologies. More information at sunpower.com.
Support comes from Valley Performing Arts Center in partnership with the Ford Theaters, presenting Salsa Navidad. Band leader and two-time Grammy winner Oscar Hernandez fires up the swinging, blasting, big band sound of Spanish Harlem Orchestra. This special holiday event includes Ballet Red in an edgy fusion of ballet and Latin moves, part of the Ford Signature Series, one night only, Saturday, December 5th at 8 p.m. Tickets at valleyperformingartscenter.org.
Subscribe to the To The Point podcast at kcrw.com or download the KCRW app. Available anywhere podcasts are found and on all mobile devices.
Well, we're only back with To The Point. We're talking today about a change, a new reform bill in Congress from No Child Left Behind to Every Child Succeeds, apparently likely to pass. And we've just heard that means that the debate over the implementation of education reform will devolve to the 50 states. Rick Hess is Director of Education Policy Studies at the American Enterprise Institute. Good to have you with us.
Hey, good to be here.
We just heard from Lindsay Layton that what's going to happen is that the implementation of education reform will not be decided in Washington. I think our other guests agreed with
That's
this.
the right turn only.
In the 50 state
Why
capital.
did you do that?
Is that a good thing from your point of view?
Yeah, it's an excellent thing. Schools are among the most complex of social organizations. Federal government is okay at writing rules. If you're trying to write rules without cutting checks or paving roads, federal government has some ability to make sure that these things will be done. When the federal government tells states to improve schools, you wind up with long lists of things that paralyze teachers and educators rather than things that actually serve children.
How do you feel about the new law describing Every Child Succeeds?
I think it's a vast improvement over No Child Left Behind. The big problem, as your previous guest has mentioned, that we fretted with between 1965 and the passage of NCLB in 01 was that billions were being mailed to states and nobody had any earthly idea if it was benefiting children. What NCLB got right was it created a framework for transparency where states were testing children regularly and breaking out and reporting the results. What NCLB got wrong was everything else. What this bill does is it keeps the transparency, the regular assessment requirement, the breaking out of the results, and then it manages to shovel off 75 or 85% of the detritus that got piled on top of NCLB.
What do you mean by the detritus? What would you include in that? Obviously, you think there's a lot, so you can't give us a...
Sure. Four big things. One, federal government got in the business of telling states what constituted a highly qualified future. Federal officials had no idea how to determine that. It became a paperwork chase. Second was federal government got in the business of telling states what constituted an adequately performing school. As Lindsay previously mentioned, this came coupled with a ludicrous 100% requirement that 100% of children would be proficient in reading and math by date certain. Third, federal government got in the business of telling states how they were going to design accountability systems. And fourth, it got in the business of telling states how to intervene in schools that didn't make an arbitrary target. Federal government is no expertise and no ability to do any of these things well.
Let me go back to Mary Kusler. You're again with the National Education